All right, so let's talk about what real transparency would look like. Let's slow this down and do something very simple. Instead of arguing about personalities, parties, or vibes, let's ask one clean question. If an administration were truly serious about exposing the Epstein crimes and prosecuting everyone involved, what would we actually see in that case? Not talking points, not binders, not photo ops. What would real action look like? Because here's the thing. This was not just one rich guy doing crimes in isolation. That story doesn't even pass a basic logic test. So let's walk through this step by step. First, the sweetheart deal. If you're serious, the very first thing you release is every communication on surrounding Epstein's 2007-2008 non-prosecution agreement. Emails, meeting notes, memos, call logs. Not summaries, not trust us. You release the communications between the federal prosecutors, DOJ leadership, and the defense attorneys explaining why a serial sex trafficker was effectively shielded, and is still being shielded right now. You don't redact the reasoning. You don't protect reputations. You don't say mistakes were made. You show exactly who made the decision and why. Because if justice was obstructed, that obstruction itself is a crime. Now, the second scope would be limitation. A serious administration would release internal DOJ discussions showing who decided to limit the investigation. Why were the conspirators not charged? Why were victims not informed? Why were financial crimes ignored? Human trafficking cases always involve money. Always. So where are the bank records? Where's the shell companies? Where are the transfers? If you're serious, you don't just talk about abuse. You follow the money and indict financial facilitators. That includes maybe JP Morgan, accountants, lawyers, banks, intermediaries. No exceptions. Third, witness testimony. Not anonymous summaries, not selective leaks. You release sworn statements from victims, pilots, staff, recruiters, and associates. And this is key. You don't just release statements that confirm Epstein did bad things. Everybody already knows that. You release testimony that shows who knew, who was aware, who was warned, who kept showing up anyway. Bannon, Clinton, Trump. Knowledge plus continued participation matters legally a lot. Fourth, communications involving powerful figures. This is where people get uncomfortable. And this is where the seriousness would be revealed. A real investigation does not care whether the names are people or are radioactive, right? If communications involve Bill Clinton, you release them. If they involve Donald Trump, you release them. If they involve Steve Bannon, you release them. Not because hanging out's a crime, but because knowledge facilitation or cover-up is. A serious administration does not pre-clear names based on party loyalty or political consequences. Truth first, consequence second. Fifth, the grand jury testimony. Grand jury transparency, rather, is what I mean to say. If indictments are not coming, you got to explain in detail. If statutes of limitations apply, you show where they are and how. If immunity deals were granted, you publish them. If cases were declined, you show the legal reasoning and who signed off. No mystery boxes. Silence is not transparency. 6, active prosecutions. Here's the simplest tell. If an administration is serious, Biden wasn't, Trump isn't, people get charged. Not just Epstein, who conveniently died, living people, charged, arraigned, put under oath. Because justice delayed is justice denied, and justice avoided is complicity. So, here's the takeaway. If what we see instead is partial document dumps, heavy redactions, narrative framing, finger pointing without indictments, and endless more is coming promises, that's not transparency. That's called damage control. It doesn't matter which party is doing it, Biden or Trump. I'm a friend of neither. This case is a stress test for whether elites are being held accountable. That's the standard. Not vibes, not loyalty, not optics. Evidence, charges, accountability. That's what real seriousness looks like. If you want, next step, I can tighten this and go into more details about this. But I think that's the basic breakdown of what we should be expecting. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate Me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.